back to Lawn Chair Social. We are going to do an episode that's going to wrap up our Spideyverse series. So basically, our part 3. We weren't planning on this, but with the release of Across the Spider-Verse, we just had to talk about it. With the big Spider-Man superhero fans that we are, definitely something that we want to give our honest opinions on, rank it, review it. So, I know you loved it.
I loved it. I thought so. Personally, I think Across the Spider-Verse has made it into my number one. I know it's
Jeez.
I know, but I feel like Across the Spider-Verse it was a great film. Animation is impeccable.
Yeah.
But it almost feels like it was just a huge fan service.
It was.
He's getting to see all the different Spider-Men, and you're like,
All the
I know
Spider-Man,
that
all
one.
the memes.
Yeah.
Like, it was hilarious.
It was great. I
really funny.
loved every second of it. And I remember my wife telling me once we got out, she was like, I was wondering where they would stop it. And I was like, I was so engrossed that I didn't even realize, 2-hour mark was coming up. I was just so engrossed, and I was like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
And then when it ended, I was like, that Punisher meme when he's sitting in the chair and he's going, no, wait,
Yeah.
no. That was me. I was like, wait, no, you can't stop, no.
Yeah. Oh, man. So, I loved it too. Animation's insane. Soundtrack was great. Awesome fan service, dude. I love what they've done with, like, the characters from the first one as well.
Yeah.
Focused a lot on Spider-Gwen. Brought back Peter Parker.
Peter B. Parker.
Yeah. And it was great, dude. And like we talked before it came out in like our latest Spider-Man episode, is we were afraid that they were going to make Spider-Man 2099 like just the villain of it.
Yeah.
And he wasn't, which was nice, but he wasn't a villain, but he felt like one in a way of like he was so intimidating.
Yeah. Well, I felt more than anything he was an anti-hero.
Mm-hmm.
But the way I saw it, and it might be because I'm a 2099 fanboy, but he's got a valid point. He's trying to keep everyone's world intact.
Yeah.
The whole, and I don't know, spoilers, mild spoilers, we'll try to avoid big spoilers. But for me, the biggest thing that Miguel was trying to do, he was, yeah, your loved one may die, but at the price of a whole world.
Yeah.
To me, it's Spider-Man. And in the first one, they say, in Into the Spider-Verse, they tell you it's a part of the job. You can't always save the ones you love.
Yeah.
However, Miles, having lost Uncle Aaron in the first one, and now he's going to lose his dad, it's like, yeah, it's hard, but he's really willing to risk his entire world collapsing.
Yeah.
So Miguel saw, because you could tell from the movie that he had collapsed a world.
Yeah.
And you could, that scene where he's watching that recording and then it cuts out and you could just see how like drained he is.
Mm-hmm.
You just can just imagine the dread and the weight he's carrying on his shoulders from him being selfish. And now I feel like he's mad at Miles, not because he's black, despite the memes. But he just sees himself in Miles. He sees that selfishness. And he's mad at Miles, I feel, in a sense, because he's mad at himself. Because Miles wants it bad. He wanted it bad. it caused this world to crumble. He tries to explain that to him. Miles doesn't listen, and he just makes him more mad.
Yeah.
And for
Because it's almost like Miguel, you can even argue he's trying to save Miles from the dread that Miguel feels.
yeah,
Because he, he tried to live a different life. He ended up collapsing a universe, and just like that weight, like buried him even more
yeah,
than where he was before. Because he was in a bad place before that. Tried to fix it. So yeah, he's just trying to stop him because it's like, listen, like I've been through this exact thing. I've collapsed it. I've ruined it. You don't want to go through that, so I'm gonna stop you from doing it.
yeah, very aggressively.
Yeah, very.
But
Yeah,
it's almost like parent watching his son or daughter make the same mistake they did.
yeah,
And it almost gives you an understanding of how, it gives me an understanding of like how probably my parents felt when I made mistakes that they made, and they were like, why are you so stupid? And
I mean, a little more consequence in Spider-Verse, but
a little more, it's a lot of more.
yeah. But no, I loved everything about 2099, especially just Oscar Isaac, dude. Great voice actor. Holy crap.
He's just him and Pedro Pascal, and I just feel like the incoming of the Latin community into cinema has just been so great, and they really are. And I know some people might get mad because they'll be like, what about this actor and what about this actress? But right now I feel like more people are putting spotlight on the Latin community because of Oscar and Isaac.
Yeah. No, people are like finally, because Oscar's been around for quite a while.
Yeah.
He's been in pretty big productions, but hasn't gotten, the spotlight.
Yeah.
Like he was, I don't know the name, but he was in, X-Men. He was the main villain in one of like the newer ones,
Oh.
Not Days of Future Past. Right before
Dark Phoenix.
Right before Dark Phoenix. It didn't do that well as a movie, but so he played a major role in that Marvel movie. He was Moon Knight. Moon Knight brought him a lot of fame. But before that, dude, he was Poe in Star Wars.
Yeah.
And people they forget that because he got these big roles in movies that didn't do so well.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of sucks for him, but no, he's finally gained the recognition that he deserves.
Oh yeah.
And same with Pedro too.
Pedro, he's in The Mandalorian, The Last of Us, which I haven't watched. Narcos. Yeah. Narcos is good.
In The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent.
I haven't seen that one, but I've seen the meme.
It is so funny, dude. Like you have to like dry humor for it, definitely. Yeah. But it's a great one. I would highly recommend it. But in Spider-Man, like the casting for voice acting is just great. The amount of development in this one story alone was awesome. But my honest opinion of it, I was let down because I went in with different expectations, and it's just my own fault. Yeah. I didn't know this was going to be part one, basically. Apparently, it was said before it came out that this is like a part one to the third one. Yeah, so when it ended, I was kind of disappointed because I was like, there's no climax to this movie.
There wasn't. The end was the climax.
No, dude.
Yes, it was.
That's not it. Like, because I go in with the expectations, man. Like Marvel, Iron Man 1, 2, and 3, all different stories. Captain America 1, 2, and 3, all different stories. Even the other Spider-Man, they all had an ending. This one didn't.
Infinity War and Endgame.
Infinity War, if you left it like that, it could end. Superheroes lost. That's it. That's the movie.
But that was your climax.
Yeah,
that
exactly.
was.
And in this Spider-Man, it wasn't a climax. It was a cliffhanger. It was just him captured. You can't just. That's not the end of the story. Infinity War could have ended there if they really wanted to. They could have just ended it there.
But they did. It was a part 1 of part 2. We all knew.
But what I'm saying is, even though that is a part 1, it can end there. This one can't, because he's trapped, and then you have a big team up. You know, that's how it ends.
Well,
that's not climax,
that's what the
dude.
next one is gonna be. It's
exactly,
gonna be a big
that's what the
team-up.
next one is. So this movie in itself let me down because of that. It was 2.5 hours of build up.
It was 2.5 hours.
It was 2.5 hours.
For me, it felt like 30 minutes.
For me, it felt like 30 minutes too long.
Oh,
just
man.
because it built up to just be the third one. So going into it, that's not what I expected. It had some amazing parts. It had thousands of good parts, but nothing that blew me away.
That's fair.
Except for like the animation.
Yeah.
Animation, the entire time I couldn't take my eyes off it, obviously.
Yeah.
I saw it in IMAX, so just like the sound of it, everything was just crazy, but nothing about this movie blew me away except for the animation.
Yeah.
Story was great, but I feel like it just drug on too long.
Yeah.
But it makes me so incredibly excited for the third one.
Yeah.
So this one I wouldn't put in my top 3 still, but I'm pretty sure when the third one comes out, it will be my favorite trilogy, and maybe the third one will be my favorite movie.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's entitled to their own opinion, even if it's wrong. But
that statement right there, everyone's entitled. You're basically just saying, yeah, your opinion sucks.
Yeah,
that's what I mean.
It does.
It's fine.
It does.
It's fine.
It does and it doesn't. I definitely can understand, because at first, when it ended, how it ended, I was almost angry, because I was like, you can't end it there.
Exactly.
And I was like, but that's exactly what Infinity War was. The heroes lost. You feel that distraught, they lost, and you're like, you can't end it like this.
Mm-hmm. Spider-Man,
that's what it is.
He didn't lose. He hasn't lost yet. He's just in a different world and tied up to a punching bag, so he's trapped. He didn't lose anything. He's just trapped. He has his little sparking fist going, so you know he's about to fight back. Infinity War literally ends with them dropping to their knees with the realization that half of everything living is gone, that they have lost.
Yeah.
And they live their next 4 years assuming that nothing can be done, just trying to cope with it. And Spider-Man has this team build-up, so you know something's coming. No one has lost yet. No one has lost.
Well,
Miguel's on the chase.
Yeah.
Miles is just trapped, and Gwen got together a team. There's no loss to it. So as a standalone movie, it just does not have an ending. And so that, for me, if you were to just put it as one, is not that good.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. No.
You get that? You get that?
I do. Because in comparison from the first Spider-Verse movie to the second Spider-Verse movie, there is an ending. There is a resolution.
Yeah.
You know. And yes, number 2 doesn't quite have a resolution. But would you have rather sat in that theater for another 2.5 hours, which personally for me, I would have been fine with it.
Yeah, I could have done that. But yeah, as just a general audience, it wouldn't work.
Yeah. I remember we were leaving and I told my wife, I was like, they're really going to make me wait. And I'm going to hold on to this suspense and this what if.
Hopefully it's not another 5 years.
But you know what?
They said
it takes time.
Yeah.
And movies, along with games, they need their polish.
Yeah.
I feel like now people rush to meet the deadline. And I don't know if you remember, but hearing the news that Spider-Man was going to be delayed, I was like, you can't do this to us.
Yeah.
But then I sat back and remembered all the times that things were rushed, things were cut, they weren't as great.
Yeah.
And it just does a disservice to the fans. It does a disservice to
the
actors, to
everyone
the production,
working on it. Yeah.
Everyone. It just doesn't. It's better to delay and have a quality polished project.
Yeah.
Than to try and polish a turd.
Yeah. No, exactly. And there's rumors that it will just come out next year.
That would be dope and would make sense, because if they delayed it, I can see how they delayed it and they're like, we can't let the fans wait too much.
Yeah.
So the first half can come out, and then we'll keep working, and then the second half can come out.
Yeah.
So I could see it coming out in a year, but I am also fine waiting for another masterpiece.
So I understand like waiting for a masterpiece, and I can wait too.
Mm-hmm.
I can wait for the best Spider-Man movie because that's what it's building up to be, definitely. But like, it was still a great movie, you know, Across the Spider-Verse. It still had amazing cameos, really great fan service. Like, I know we said no major spoilers, but like, if you haven't seen it by now, like, what are you doing? But dude, bringing Donald Glover in,
Oh, I thought that was like
that was
cherry on top, nod to No Way Home,
yeah.
or not No Way Home, but the Tom Holland series.
Homecoming is when
Homecoming.
yeah, because here's the
But they
thing.
nodded to No Way Home too.
Yeah, they did. But here's the thing: is Donald Glover in real life was the inspiration for Miles Morales. Did you know that?
I had heard some stuff, and I know because I was a Donald Glover fan,
Mhm.
Childish Gambino fan. I watched The Community.
Yeah.
And I had seen that he had loved Spider-Man, and everyone was trying to get him to be casted as Miles Morales.
Yeah, that's the thing. Well, I've never confirmed it myself, but that's like the big rumor that I've always heard is that he was the inspiration for Miles.
Mhm.
So yeah, he was meant to play him, but project just got pushed back. He got too old for the role, and so yeah, then they put him in Homecoming as Miles' uncle.
Aaron.
Yeah, as Aaron,
Yeah.
because in the movie Homecoming, when he's buying, you know,
Ice cream.
yeah, ice cream.
Yeah, because he gets webbed. He gets webbed to the trunk,
Yeah.
and Peter tries to intimidate him,
Mhm.
and he's like, you haven't done this before, have you?
Oh
And
yeah.
he's like,
yeah, the
oh
ice
no,
cream.
sorry, da da da, this and that, and then he swings away, and he's like, are you serious? I've got ice cream in the trunk.
Oh.
He's like, when is
okay,
this
yeah.
gonna come off? He's like, in 2 hours.
Yeah, but when he was like caught, you know, before that, you know, buying the weapons and whatnot, he mentions that he was buying them to protect his nephew in that neighborhood.
Yeah.
Nephew is Miles, so like Miles is in the MCU even before then. But it's just such a great nod that they had him
It
just
almost,
just sitting there, dude. Live action too, not even animate him, just
Live
him.
action.
It was so good.
I almost makes me want to hope that they'll make another Tom Holland Spider-Man, and he'll be the main villain. He'll be like Prowler.
That'd be sick.
That would be so dope. And then
Yeah.
maybe we get a little hint at a Miles Morales, and then they'll make another Spider-Man, which I'm
Yeah.
all for. Just make all the
Dude,
Spider-Man
or-
movies.
What if like the next Tom Holland movie, it's Donald Glover and a new Miles? What if it's Aaron and Miles? Because
Yeah.
Miles is meant to be Prowler. That's what they showed in Across the Spider-Verse, you know,
Yeah.
is that he was meant to be Prowler.
No, he wasn't meant to
Yes.
be Prowler. No,
Yes.
he wasn't.
Yes.
No, he wasn't.
If you go to the first movie, have you seen this clip?
In that one, in his universe, yes, I have seen it. The
When
green and purple.
When
yeah.
he meets Peter Parker and they're having their little spidey sense trying to figure each other out, he has green and purple behind him and it shifts to red and blue because he wasn't meant to be Spider-Man in his universe. That's what this whole second movie was
Yeah.
about, is he is the first one to break canon. He's
Yeah.
the original. He's the one that
It's a
caused it
canon
all.
event, bro.
Yeah, but he was meant to be Prowler. Well, maybe not like meant to be him, but he wasn't meant to be a good guy, basically.
Yeah,
But no,
Which-
that'd be great to see in
Yeah.
the future. But
that'd be cool.
amazing movie, great fan service. I'm glad that for the big team up at the end, it brings back, you know,
The OG
Spider Pig,
Nor Spider-Man.
yeah, and like all of them. The Tokyo girl, she was in it she showed up a second in the middle
Yeah.
of the movie, but then like she's still there at the end. And then I just want to take a quick second. I don't know his name, but the Indian Universe Spider-Man that had
Yeah.
so freaking cool, man. He was one of my favorites. The way that they made him move, they studied like a traditional type of martial arts of India to make him move like that. He had, I'm sure they have a different name, but he had his yo-yo as his like
Yeah.
as his as his webs, and then bringing in Spider Punk.
Yeah.
He was
Spider-Punk
so
was
sick, man.
legit. The only time I knew about Spider-Punk was because of the Insomniac Spider-Man game for the PS4.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I knew about Spider-Punk. Never did. I mean, I should have just put two and two together, but I didn't know that he'd be British,
Yeah.
and I thought that was cool.
His animation was dope. Apparently, like every different part of his body moves at a different frame rate, so he just looks like so.
He's an anarchist.
Yeah, he was awesome.
It was great. It was well done.
It was very well done. If I were to rank this movie, give my ranking on it, I'd probably still go an 8. And
Top 10, but not.
No, just like 8. 8
out of 10?
Yeah.
I would give it 10 out of 10. It's a canon event.
It is a canon event. But that's the thing. Just as a standalone movie, the animation, the story was great. I wish there was more action because the main action of it was the chase scene, which was sick. One of the best scenes. But it was just a running away type of thing, which
Yeah.
I mean makes sense. They couldn't obviously try to beat him up, but 8 out of 10 I feel like is fair for it.
Yeah.
It will go up when the third one comes out if I were to rank them as one singular movie, because there's a big fan base that counts Infinity War and Endgame as one movie, which you can definitely watch it that way, and it obviously still makes sense and still makes for a great one movie if you were to do it that way. So I feel like when the third one comes out as a trilogy, it'll probably be my favorite. Across the Spider-Verse, I'd probably put, let's see, this is the 11th movie.
You got three Tobys,
2
three
Andrew,
Hollands, 2 Andrews.
and then now 2 Spider-Verse.
So there's 10.
So there's 10. I'd go top 5.
Top 5.
Top 5 out of them. I mean,
That's respectable.
It's top 50, which when you say it that way, doesn't make it sound
Top
that great.
50?
50%.
Oh, okay.
That's what I mean. It's up there. But yeah, top 5. I still liked No Way Home more. I still just love Amazing Spider-Man. That's still Andrew's like holds a lot for me.
Yeah.
And then I just feel like the first Into the Spider-Verse was better as a singular movie. It was better in my opinion.
Yeah. For me, it's up there. It's number 1.
Yeah. Which I can see why a lot of people have it there.
Yeah. For me, biggest thing, they brought Miguel onto the screen, and I know he's not the first ethnic Spider-Man to come on the scene. I know Miles is the first because he's half
Puerto Rican.
I thought when he said like, "Hey Theo," I thought that was funny because he knew he was on Miguel's bad side.
Yeah.
So I thought it was funny.
No, and like, not to like brag or anything, dude, but I feel so lucky to know Spanish because so much in this movie was Spanish.
Yeah.
And I just love being able to like understand it, and get the jokes, get all the little slang and stuff, So
Yeah.
I loved how they added that. Like, I'm obviously not Latino myself, but I do have a special place in my heart for Latinos because, as you know, viewers might not know, I did spend a very long time in Nicaragua, and so I just love that side, and so it's fun seeing it on the big screen and represented like that in a way where I get to understand it.
Yeah. It was dope. It was awesome. And
was
just like Across the Spider-Verse, we're going to end this one just like that.